Welcome to our Thursday program of Adoption Awareness Live. I'm so thrilled that you're with me today. Been away for a few weeks, and just want to wish you a happy Thursday, a happy December, and a Merry Christmas. I can't believe we're so close to Christmas now. Today's December the 7th. Happy Pearl Harbor Day. Sad day, actually, for those who have died. And it was just a terrible, terrible thing. But we honor this day. Today's also my grandmother's birthday. Had she been living, she would have been well over 100. But we honor her anyway. So I just really appreciate y'all being with me. It's been... I went to Colorado first for 6 days and visited my son and grandkids, and came home for a day and left again with my husband to go to Florida. So that was a lot of fun, and I welcome those who are joining me right now. Appreciate it. So I'm putting my glasses on so obviously I can see. And so I really appreciate y'all hanging in there with me and staying on my page and liking it and telling your friends and family members and those who you know who may be interested in adoption. Very important. I put a lot of resources out there and information for those to help you in your search and in your process of learning more about adoption. So I found an article today that I wanted to share. I didn't find it today. I found it earlier in the week, but I wanted to share it with you today. So I'm sorry for moving you around. It's an article put out on adoption.com. You can find it yourself. Was put out on November 24th and written by Sherry Epley. And the article says, 5 adoption moments you should keep private. I thought this was very interesting. She says, ultimately, your adoption story is the child's story to tell, and no one else's. So I thought it was interesting because a lot of times we're just bubbling over with excitement about just whatever is going on in our life. Sometimes we don't think about, well, if there's other people in this story, is this something that I should be sharing? Or is it something that maybe someone else should be sharing? Is it really your story? So I thought this was a good article, and I'm going to go ahead and go through it with you, read it. And like I said, there's 5 points, 5 adoption moments you should keep private. So what she says here in starting out is social media sites have made sharing information with friends, family members, and the world so easy. I probably share far too much about my life and my kids on internet. After all, my kids are so cute, and I want to share every precious, sweet, funny moment with our loved ones. I'm the same way. Being a foster and adoptive family, we also get asked a lot of questions about the kids and adoption from people we know and even strangers. So how do we determine what is acceptable to share and what things we should keep private? How do we find a balance between spreading awareness of adoption, helping people understand our children's unique challenges and our struggles while respecting our children's needs, wishes, and right to privacy? In my opinion, she says, here are just a few of the adoption moments that should be kept private. Interesting, huh? First one, she says, first meeting. Meeting your child for the first time should be a special moment for just you and your immediate family. There will be plenty of time to introduce the child to the extended family and all your friends. You may even want to have a welcome party after the child has had enough time to settle into their new home. Depending on the circumstances, the child might be scared and easily overwhelmed by meeting too many new people all at once. And of course, this is especially true if you're adopting a toddler or an older child. A baby, maybe not so much. As excited as the adoptive parents are to be welcoming their child into the family, the child is most likely still dealing with trauma and separation from the birth family, among other things. Even infants, and she her and I differ on this, obviously, but she says even infants can easily become overwhelmed. So you might consider just some quiet, private family time together when they first come home. Well, that part I will agree with, because a child's got to adapt to their home environment. So maybe waiting a couple of weeks might be a good idea, or doing it a month from the time the child comes in. So there's some flexibility there. You would know best based on the needs and the personality of the child. Okay, number 2. She says why they were adopted. Almost everyone you meet will wonder and most likely ask about your child's adoption. What happened to their parents? Why were they placed for adoption? Why were they in foster care? How did they end up in an orphanage, and what was it like there? Some of the questions that people may ask. As foster parents, we're not allowed to share any personal information about the children in our care. Once they're adopted, of course, we are the parents and can choose to share whatever we want, but that doesn't mean we should share everything. Rehearsing some scripted answers to some of these common questions may be helpful in providing a tactful answer without divulging too much information that should remain private. If your child is old enough to understand, decide together how you want to answer these questions. Some children will be more open and share too much information, while others will not want to talk about adoption at all, and that's okay. Ultimately, their adoption story is the child's story to tell and no one else's. They should be able to choose what, when, how, and with whom they share their story. Remember that the little baby will grow up one day and might not be too happy that nosy Aunt Betty or the entire church congregation knows everything about their painful past and even things they might not know yet. So keep that in mind, okay? Because ultimately, it's the child's story. Okay, number 3, medical history. Choosing to share information about the child's medical history can be tricky sometimes. Obviously, their physicians need to know, but you might also need to share some information with their teachers, daycare workers, or babysitters if it affects how they care for the child. Other times, you might feel the need to share information about their diagnosis or conditions, just so people understand your daily struggles or stop judging you for your child's behavior, etc. In the end, your child's medical history is really no one else's business. Let your child be seen for who they are rather than their labels, diagnosis, or limitations. Allow your child to maintain their dignity and privacy by keeping their medical history and biological family's history confidential. Sounds good to me. Okay, I'm going kind of quickly here, hoping I would get more people on today, but as you know, this will be recorded and posted when I'm finished, so if you have any questions, you can always post them below in the comment section, okay? So here's number 4, announcing the adoption day. This is a tough one. The adoption day is an exciting day for the family. So she goes on to say, I understand you would want to shout it from the rooftops and blast it all over social media. We choose not to announce the specific date and time of the adoption prior to that day. Our family and close friends all knew, but we didn't share the information on the internet for privacy reasons. Keeping the announcement private will ensure that only guests you invited are there. Every child will differ on how they want to celebrate Adoption Day and the yearly anniversary. And most homes that I've worked with over the years, they call it Gotcha Day. And that's always a big deal. Every child will differ on how they want to celebrate Adoption Day and the yearly anniversary. Discuss with the child what they want to do on that day. They might want a big party, or they might prefer something quieter and more private. Some adoptees choose not to celebrate Adoption Day at all because it's also a reminder of their past and their family that they lost. Don't assume your child wants this day to be public. Makes good sense to me. Okay, number 5. Visiting with birth family. I'm having problems with these glasses. Let me check something here. Let's see if these are any better. They might be exactly the same. I don't know. Actually, I can see a little better in these. Okay. Visiting with birth family. Many adoptees maintain some type of contact and relationship with their birth families. Visiting with their birth families or siblings is a special time for them and does not need to be shared with the whole family, or with the whole world, I should say. Allow your child to have these private moments. Likewise, the birth family might not want you sharing information about them or posting pictures of them on social media. Respect everyone's right to privacy in this situation. These are just a few of the adoption moments that should be kept private, along with anything else that your child requests not to be shared. Respect your child's wishes. If your child is too young to communicate their wishes, think about how they might feel when they're older and find out you shared private details of their life with everyone. Are there any other adoption moments that you think should remain private? Well, I want to tell you something that occurred to me. I was always excited to share birth announcements of my children's and their wives when they were expecting. As an example, I got reprimanded for doing that, for posting it on Facebook, that I had a grandchild that was going to be born, and my children weren't ready to announce that yet. So, I have 9 grandchildren between my 2 sons, so I learned very early on, you wait until they post things on their Facebook page and want to announce it. In usually a fun way, they've announced all their pregnancies. And then I can post on my Facebook page. But that reminds me, in respecting people's wishes here, especially the birth child, if there are other people involved in this process, you need to consider them as well. The adoptive family wants to put all kinds of fun things on Facebook. But please consider the birth parents and their family, the birth child especially, and do keep it to a minimum as far as family members keeping it private and just letting them know. Yes, we get excited, and yes, we want to shout it from the rooftops, but it may not always be the best thing. Okay? So keep those things in mind. I'm keeping this short today. I will be back next week, but with the holidays right around the corner, I'm thinking on the 21st of December. Sorry about that. 21st of December, I may not be on. Too close to Christmas and lots of last minute things to do. So you all have a great week. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.